You have now tuned in with your favorite dark-skinned friend with a beard, Unity.
All of that. All of that. Welcome back to another video with your favorite dark-skinned friend with a beard. You heard him. Unity. We tried to do this video a minute ago and my computer died. So my apologies. I appreciate y'all tuning back in. We're going to get into this video with apparently or allegedly Papoose has gotten Remy Ma pregnant again while he is still dealing with Claressa Shields. And this has been a messy situation over the last year and a half or so, with Claressa Shields and Remy Ma going back and forth about this whole Papoose thing. And Papoose looked like he had moved on, but clearly he hasn't. So we're going to find out in this video right now. You feel me? Make sure that y'all press the like button, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and make sure you hit that hype stars on YouTube so they know that you're messing with the content. You feel me? Let me go ahead and make sure that everybody is tuned in and live on the YouTube. View the channel real quick. Shout out. We got 247 subscribers now, too. We done went up 40 subscribers in a week and a half, man. So I appreciate that. Y'all make sure y'all keep sharing. Tell your friends about the page. You know, we're going to keep reacting and laughing together, you know. That's what I'm talking about. So that's good. Bye out. Shout out to the two people over here on YouTube. Make sure you put your W's in the chat so I can say what's up. You can get your special hello. Yeah, man. You feel me? Let me check on Twitch. Make sure we're good on Twitch. And we are live on Twitch as well. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and get this video popping. Like I said, man, Remy and Papoose, they were like the standard for black love for a long time, and then all this scandal happened, and you know, Remy was out there creeping with what's his name? Some Easy the Block Captain, one of her battle rappers in one of her leagues. She started messing around with him, and freaking Papoose started messing around with Claressa Shields. So I don't know. It's just a big old mess all the way around. All right, let me get the screen ready for y'all real quick, so that way we can get this thing popping. What am I doing? There we go. Now y'all can see. I don't need no help. We got this. We got this. Okay. Disclaimer. All right, let's get this. Let me make sure there ain't no. Yep, that's off. Turn this all the way up. And let's go.
I love having his support, you know what I'm saying? His support is like very, very different from what I've had in the past. And how he speaks to me and stuff is very different. There you go.
Oh, yeah, 50 Cent's supposed to be chiming in on this, too. It said 50 Cent. Who is it? First off, this video is brought to us by Kira X-S4T. Y'all go ahead and subscribe if you end up liking this video. It's my first time reacting to one of her videos that she got on here. But it says 50 Cent mocks Claressa Shields after Papoose gets Remy Ma pregnant again. That's what her title is. So let's go ahead and keep it popping.
You deserve each other.
Y'all, hold on to your seats because this tea is about to blow your mind. Claressa Shields thought she had it all figured out: love, loyalty, and a future with Papoose. She was blind in love, believing every word, every promise, every public smile he threw her way. But behind the cameras, behind the perfect Instagram photos, the truth was darker, colder, and more brutal than anyone could imagine. Allegedly, while Claressa was dreaming of forever, Papoose was playing a dangerous double game. Christmas? Spent with Remy Ma. Birthday celebrations for his daughter? Spent with Remy Ma again. All this while Claressa thought they were building a life together. And now, the shocking bombshell. Remy Ma is reportedly pregnant, and the child is allegedly Papoose's. Pregnancy certificates leaked, documents allegedly confirm it, and the betrayal is on a scale no one saw coming. And let's not forget the financial angle. Reportedly, Papoose and Remy...
Look, man. Hold on. Look, man. Oh, man. They always say, man, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. But sometimes, they got to go find out for themselves. And like she said, Papoose was playing a dangerous game. You feel me? He didn't even spend Christmas with her. She said he spent Christmas with Remy and the kids. Everything is going to resort back to the kids because the kids come first no matter what. But if you think that he ain't over there dipping and dodging in his baby mama or his ex-wife, you got another thing coming, Claressa. Come on now.
Used Claressa's money to cover their expenses, all while Claressa was left thinking their love story was real. It's a total illusion, a setup for heartbreak of epic proportions. And of course, 50 Cent isn't holding back. He's mocking, exposing, and dragging Claressa's blind love for all the world to see. He called it from day one. Papoose is a playboy, an opportunist, and a cheater. And now, Claressa's worst fears are confirmed, her trust shattered, and her public image caught in the crossfire of betrayal and scandal. This isn't just gossip. This is a tragedy, a full-blown emotional roller coaster of heartbreak, deception, and shock. Stay tuned, because the story is far from over, and the receipts just keep coming. Claressa Shields may have been blindsided, but the world is watching every explosive moment unfold.
I want to have 2 more fights this year, and after that, take off a little time, maybe have a kid or something.
Oh, man, you heard what she said. She said she wanted to have a couple fights, and then she wanted to take some time off and have a kid. She was planning on having a baby with Papoose. You feel me? And that right there would have been the ultimate, leverage that she needed to stick into freaking Remy Ma. But it ended up turning around being the other way, allegedly. You feel me? This fool, Papoose, went and dipped his stick back in the honey pot over there at Remy. And apparently she is prego.
It doesn't mean I'm not going to have time for the other kids, but it does mean that I have a new baby and I have to focus and give that baby my undivided.
It's the light-skinned girls who think they just so pretty, and just because they born light-skinned that they just all that. That they can come up with shit.
My best friend, I talk to him about everything, and when the time is right, people want details of how long we...
Buckle up, because what you're about to hear is the kind of celebrity drama that doesn't just shock. It rattles the very foundation of what fans thought they knew. Claressa Shields, a woman who once walked with confidence, pride, and love in her heart, now finds herself in a nightmare she could never have imagined. The person she trusted most, the man she believed was her forever.
Shout out to the YouTube twat. I can't even talk. YouTube chat. Shout out to Dwayne Williams, bro. I told y'all every time y'all actually comment or say or put the W's in the chat, you get one of these. Yeah, man. I appreciate you coming in, man. Appreciate you coming in. Y'all keep sharing, like, comment, subscribe. Let's get it.
Papoose allegedly turned that trust into a weapon. What seemed like a fairy tale romance was nothing but a meticulously crafted illusion, a mask hiding betrayal, opportunism, and deceit. Allegedly, while Claressa was publicly celebrating milestones, sharing smiles, and painting pictures of a happy relationship, Papoose was orchestrating a parallel life. Christmas and her daughter Reminisce Mackenzie's birthday were reportedly spent not with Claressa, not with the woman claiming his heart, but with Remy Ma. A revelation so chilling it makes every public photo, every social media post, every whispered promise look like a lie.
I ain't gonna lie, man. Remy Ma, she do look way better than Claressa, man. Claressa got more accomplishments, but Remy Ma got that body yaddy, 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 yaddy.
And the storm doesn't end there. A leaked pregnancy report allegedly confirms that Remy Ma is once again expecting, and the child is Papoose's. This is not speculation, not rumor. Documents, reportedly verified, outline the scale of the betrayal. The person Claressa called her love, her partner, and her future has allegedly been living a lie right in front of her eyes. 50 Cent, never one to hold back, didn't let this pass quietly. Through social media, interviews, and pointed commentary,
you already know 50 about to put his 2 cents in, man. Him and Claressa have been going back and forth in the media a little bit the last couple of weeks. So he couldn't wait for an opportunity for something like this to blow.
he exposed Claressa's blind devotion, mocking her for believing in a man whose playboy lifestyle, side chicks, and opportunistic ways were evident from the start. He called it before anyone else could, warning that Papoose's intentions were never pure. Now, Claressa's world, once vibrant with trust and hope,
She look
has
good
been
right
shattered.
there.
Every memory she cherished, every word of love, suddenly seems like a calculated performance designed to manipulate her. Adding to the heartbreak, financial exploitation allegedly played a role. Papoose and Remy Ma reportedly used Claressa's resources to support themselves and their secret life. Money intended for shared dreams and stability was allegedly redirected to cover bills and
That's wild right there. But that's not far off, though. You feel me? I feel like once that fool got caught, yeah, he kind of like moved on and tried to make it all public with Claressa and shit like that. But he was putting her in positions to make hella money, and she was willing to give that money right to him. You know what I'm saying? And it wouldn't surprise me if him and Remy had a conversation on the side. It was like, look, you can do what you want with this girl. Just make sure that you start breaking off the household, and I'll shut up. You feel me? Like, they could have made some type of arrangement to get this money. And now that she pregnant, ooh, wee, diabolical. That's my favorite word right now.
expenses for a life Claressa was never part of. She believed in a narrative of happiness, but every dollar, every gesture was part of a deception too intricate to comprehend. The image she held of Papoose as loyal, caring, and devoted was reportedly nothing but smoke and mirrors. The emotional weight of this scandal cannot be overstated. Claressa's heartbreak is compounded by public scrutiny, fans reacting in real time to her heartbreak, and social media buzzing with leaked documents, images, and updates that confirm every fear she had yet dared not confront. 50 Cent's relentless exposure, paired with the leaked pregnancy certificate, reportedly confirming Papoose's child with Remy Ma, adds layers of tragedy, betrayal, and public humiliation. Claressa's
Hold on real quick. Shout out to the Twitch stream. We got 2 over there. Appreciate you, Tati's baby. You get one of these real quick. I told you, all y'all get one. Let's get back to the video. Appreciate you.
private grief has become a spectacle, every tear analyzed, every reaction dissected. Allegedly, Papoose's opportunism stretches further than emotional manipulation. Reports suggest he not only betrayed Claressa's trust, but also manipulated financial avenues for personal gain. The depth of the deception, as public documents and insider claims suggest, spans emotional manipulation, financial exploitation, and carefully hidden affairs. Every celebration, every public appearance, every social media post allegedly served as a tool to craft a perception of happiness, while the truth unfolded in secret. Claressa Shields, once a symbol of strength, now faces the ultimate betrayal. A man she loved, someone she built dreams with, allegedly orchestrating a life outside of her, with another woman and another child on the way. This scandal is more than personal heartbreak. It is a cultural shockwave, a vivid illustration of trust broken at the highest level, a tragic narrative where love is weaponized and innocence exploited. The viral impact of this revelation is undeniable. Fans, followers, and the public alike are watching in horror. The combination of leaked documents, social media commentary, and aggressive exposes by figures like 50 Cent turning personal tragedy into viral spectacle. The narrative is a cautionary tale of deception, betrayal, and the public unraveling of private heartbreak. Every allegation, every report, paints a portrait of a relationship built on illusion, a love story turned nightmare, and a scandal destined to dominate headlines. The gravity of Claressa's emotional state is compounded by the public nature of the exposure. Allegedly, Papoose's actions, juggling public appearances, private celebrations, and secret relationships, reveal a man who allegedly never intended to commit, whose manipulation reportedly...
Man, how many of y'all think that he really was messing with Claressa? Like he was really trying to move on, or was she was just a rebound to, you know, him being hurt because Remy was messing with that dang battle rapper? You feel me? Like, when niggas get hurt, we try to do it's either we just forget you all the way, or we try to get you back in a way where it's just like you can't do nothing but want us back. You know what I'm saying? Like we gotta up it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what he was trying to do. I feel like he was trying to up it by messing with Claressa. But I heard that Claressa and Remy were friends at one point before all of this even went down. So Papoose was already on some grimy stuff. That's what I'm saying. Like he was hurt, and he tried to hurt her back by trying to get it within like the inner circle, and it worked. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, look where they end right back up at.
Extended to money, perception, and Claressa's own image. Fans worldwide are witnessing not just a breakup, but a calculated series of betrayals that leave Claressa's trust in ruins and her emotional world shattered. In this tragedy, the layers of deceit are staggering. Every relationship milestone, every holiday, every social media post, and every public appearance allegedly served as camouflage for a private life Claressa never knew. Remy Ma's secret pregnancy, allegedly confirmed by leaked documents, stands as the ultimate blow, the final piece in a puzzle of betrayal, deception, and heartbreak. 50 Cent's relentless exposure amplifies the emotional intensity, ensuring that Claressa's story, her grief, and the scandal itself are unforgettable, shocking, and impossible to ignore. The courtroom of public opinion is relentless, dissecting every action, every relationship dynamic, and every leaked document. Claressa Shields' heartbreak, while deeply personal, is now a cultural event, a viral story that mixes tragedy, scandal, and intense gossip in a way that only celebrity life can. Allegedly, Papoose's choices have left her exposed, manipulated, and financially exploited, while Remy Ma's pregnancy and their secret celebrations push the story into explosive territory. Betrayal, heartbreak, financial manipulation, secret pregnancies, and social media exposure combine into a storm that no one saw coming. Claressa Shields, the woman who trusted, loved, and believed, is now facing an emotional reckoning that the world is watching unfold in real time. The scandal is far from over, and the revelation.
And see, that's the crazy part about these celebrities, man. Like they got to do this in front of everybody. Like there is no privacy when it comes to this type of stuff. You know how many people in the hood, what you call it, a dude got one girl pregnant, while he with another female, and nobody ever knows about this type of stuff. But go ahead and let Claressa Shields and Papoose and Remy Ma get in the mix, and one of them get pregnant. Now all of a sudden it's like front page news. It's bananas, man. I can only imagine the extra pressure that's always on these people. But I don't feel sorry for them either, though, because at the end of the day, they know that everything that they do is going to come to light because they are in the public eye. So, man, it's just crazy.
Keep coming, each one more shocking than the last, each one adding fuel to a fire of viral drama, heartbreak, and public spectacle. The storm only intensified. The layers of betrayal that Claressa Shields was forced to confront didn't stop at emotional devastation. They dug deeper, cutting through the foundations of trust, public image, and personal dignity. As the world watched, the narrative became a spectacle of heartbreak, scandal, and manipulation, with Papoose at the center, orchestrating a life that Claressa was never meant to see. The alleged truth behind his actions painted him as a man skilled in deception, a master of duality, keeping one life in the public eye while secretly building another. Sources close to the situation reportedly revealed that the moments Claressa believed were filled with intimacy and commitment were, in fact, part of a carefully constructed illusion. Every public dinner, every photo op, every social media story allegedly served to convince Claressa and the world of a loyalty that never existed. While she was planning...
Man, and as men, we don't have the time or the patience to construct plans like this. And if we do end up going through with some stuff like that, it's because another woman put the battery in the back. You feel me? Like they are the ones that constructed it, and they just like, you can execute, but I'll plan it out for you, and then we both win. You know what I'm saying? I could totally see him, like I said, him and Remy having a convo, and she breaking it down the way that, you know what I'm saying, that make it comfortable for both of them. And then, you know, he selling Claressa a dream. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Future, allegedly including shared finances and public appearances that cemented the perception of stability, Papoose was reportedly busy maintaining connections, not just with Remy Ma, but with side interests that no one suspected. The leaked pregnancy certificate of Remy Ma sent shockwaves across the celebrity landscape. It was reportedly the confirmation of a secret life Claressa had been blindsided by, the proof that her trust had been exploited, and her love weaponized. Every fan comment, every post online dissected her heartbreak, turning her private tragedy into a public courtroom. Social media became a magnifying glass, amplifying every detail, every rumor, and every leak, creating a viral storm that left Claressa's emotional state under intense scrutiny.
Just want to say shout out to the 9-10 people in the chat on YouTube, the 3 on Twitch. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Make sure y'all hit that like button, comment, subscribe, share. Love y'all.
Reports suggest that the financial manipulations went beyond simple mismanagement. Allegedly, Papoose used Claressa's resources to maintain appearances for Remy Ma, cover expenses, and further his secret life while keeping Claressa in the dark. Friends close to Claressa allegedly describe her as shattered, unable to process how someone she loved so deeply could be orchestrating such an elaborate betrayal. 50 Cent's relentless commentary didn't just expose her heartbreak, it added a layer of public humiliation, mocking her for trusting a man whose opportunistic tendencies were well known. The emotional impact is staggering. Allegedly, Claressa tried to hold on to hope, believing in Papoose's love, interpreting every gesture as genuine. But the evidence suggested otherwise. Leaked documents, reports from insiders, and social media proof painted a picture of calculated exploitation. Her heartbreak was no longer private, it became a spectacle. Every revelation tore away at the image she had of a relationship, showing the world that what looked like love was possibly a facade carefully crafted by Papoose. Witnesses reportedly note that the psychological toll on Claressa was immense. She is said to have gone through moments of disbelief, crying, confronting friends, and even questioning her own judgment. Public reactions ranged from shock to sympathy, with fans flooding social media with support, outrage, and disbelief at the level of deception alleged. The narrative transformed from heartbreak to a scandal of epic proportions, with Claressa caught in the center, forced to navigate betrayal, exposure, and financial exploitation simultaneously. The alleged manipulations extended beyond love and finances. Reports claim that Papoose's side dealings, secret communications, and hidden celebrations with Remy Ma were meticulously planned to maintain secrecy, ensuring that Claressa remained.
Well, at the end of the day, there's really no way that he had secret communications. Sorry. This guy's kicking my butt. But there ain't no way that he has secret communications with his baby mama / ex-wife / I don't even know if they even got divorced. You feel me? Anytime he went over there by himself, is that considered secret communications, or is that just it is what it is? Like, I don't know. Y'all tell me.
Oblivious until the leaks surfaced. The scale of the alleged betrayal is staggering. Private celebrations disguised, social media images curated, and financial transactions masked to create the illusion of loyalty. 50 Cent's exposure of the scandal amplified the intensity, using humor and mockery to highlight Claressa's blind trust and Papoose's opportunism. His commentary suggested that Claressa's heartbreak was avoidable had she listened, turning the narrative into a mix of tragic revelation and viral entertainment. Fans reacted with disbelief, many claiming they always suspected Papoose's playboy tendencies, now confirmed by leaks, public reports, and 50 Cent's aggressive exposure. The tragic dimension is unmistakable. Allegedly, Claressa's love for Papoose was deep, emotional, and sincere, yet it became the very instrument through which she was deceived. Reports indicate that her heartbreak wasn't just about romantic betrayal, but also about realizing that the life she thought she was building, financially, emotionally, and publicly, was never real. The revelation of Remy Ma's pregnancy reportedly confirmed every fear, every doubt, and every hidden truth she hadn't wanted to see. This scandal isn't just celebrity gossip. It's a study in manipulation, betrayal, and emotional devastation. Every layer of Papoose's
Remy Ma said, checkmate.
Alleged deceit, secret pregnancies, financial exploitation, hidden relationships contributes to a narrative that leaves Claressa in a public trial of her private heartbreak. Allegedly, The combination of leaked documents, insider reports, and social media evidence has made her a figure of both sympathy and viral fascination, with the tragedy amplified by 50 Cent's relentless exposure. The viral shockwave continues as more leaks and alleged reports surface. Friends, fans, and observers describe Claressa's grief as unparalleled, a mix of sadness, betrayal, and anger at the man she trusted most.
Yeah, I'm crying.
Allegedly, Papoose's dual life has not only humiliated Claressa, but has also ignited widespread outrage, debates, and intense media coverage, making this scandal one of the most talked about celebrity betrayals in recent memory. Allegedly, every financial misstep, every secret meeting, and every calculated smile was designed to convince Claressa of loyalty while secretly sustaining another
Why they
life.
put that picture
The
up like
emotional
that?
intensity is compounded by the public nature of her heartbreak, turning private tragedy into viral sensation. The combination of betrayal, leaked pregnancy confirmation, financial exploitation, and 50 Cent's mocking commentary ensures that the scandal remains a viral storm, shocking audiences and leaving Claressa's reputation and emotional state in ruins. The scope of Claressa Shields' heartbreak, amplified by the exposure of secret pregnancies and financial manipulation, illustrates a narrative of celebrity betrayal on a massive scale. Allegedly, the scandal leaves her emotionally devastated, publicly scrutinized, and forced to confront a reality where trust, love, and loyalty were weaponized against her. The viral impact, fan reactions, and social media frenzy guarantee that this story is far from over. Every leaked detail, every insider report, and every public commentary.
Man, what y'all think Claressa at the house doing right now? Y'all think she over at the gym right now just slamming the hell out of every punching bag, anything she could punch right now? Like, this is probably going to be the hardest that she ever trained in her life. Whoever she is about to fight next, they are going to actually feel the knockout power and wrath of Claressa Shields, because there is so much rage in this woman right now. If these stories are true, if Papoose really got Remy Ma married right now, got her pregnant right now, and he been using all the money that Claressa been making as of lately to fund his other life with his other wife. Oh my God, man, this is bananas. But he was like, always been a pimp, never been a wimp.
Only deepens the scandal, making Claressa's heartbreak a tragic, emotionally intense spectacle for all to witness. The heartbreak, betrayal, and scandal surrounding Claressa Shields reached a level that few could have anticipated. Allegedly, the full scope of Papoose's deception began to unfold, revealing layers of manipulation, secret dealings, and emotional exploitation that left Claressa reeling. The leaked pregnancy of Remy Ma was only the tip of the iceberg. Sources claim that behind closed doors, Papoose maintained a double life so meticulously crafted that even those closest to him were unaware of the depth of his opportunism. Insiders reportedly describe Claressa as shattered, struggling to reconcile the public image of her relationship with the private reality. The man she loved, trusted, and envisioned a future with allegedly orchestrated a life where loyalty was a performance and love was a tool for manipulation. Social media exploded as leaked documents, images, and insider testimonies painted a portrait of Claressa's heartbreak in high definition, every post analyzed, every reaction dissected, every tear made public. The financial exploitation allegedly added a cruel dimension to the emotional devastation. Sources claim Papoose and Remy Ma used Claressa's resources to fund their secret life, covering expenses, celebrations, and maintaining appearances while leaving Claressa blind to the truth.
Got her. Oh man, why, Papoose? Why you got to do her like that?
Allegedly, what Claressa thought was shared love and partnership turned out to be strategic use of her trust and wealth. 50 Cent, with his aggressive and relentless style, exposed Claressa's blind devotion and mocked her for falling for the manipulation, turning personal tragedy into viral spectacle. His commentary suggested that from the start, Papoose's intentions were never genuine, his opportunistic tendencies an open secret, and Claressa's heartbreak a result of misplaced trust. The leaked pregnancy certificate of Remy Ma reportedly confirmed that the child was Papoose's, solidifying the scandal and pushing Claressa to the brink of emotional collapse. Fans and followers reacted with shock, outrage, and disbelief, turning Claressa.
So once again, this is not allegedly. There is paperwork that is proving that Remy Ma is pregnant right now with Papoose's Yeah.
Clarissa's private heartbreak into a public trial. Every post online amplified her grief. Every comment dissected her pain, and every leak confirmed the betrayal. The emotional intensity of the situation, coupled with financial exploitation and secret relationships, transformed the story into a viral tragedy that no one could ignore. Allegedly, Papoose's pattern of secrecy, opportunism, and manipulation extended beyond emotional betrayal. Reports claim he orchestrated hidden celebrations, covert communications, and private financial strategies to maintain appearances, while Claressa remained unaware. Every holiday, every birthday, every public image was carefully constructed to create the illusion of loyalty, while the reality was far more disturbing. Claressa, once confident and in love, now faced the ultimate reckoning. A man she believed in had allegedly weaponized every aspect of their relationship for his gain. The psychological toll reportedly devastated Claressa. Friends describe her as emotionally shattered, struggling to process the magnitude of betrayal and deception. Public exposure compounded her grief, with social media users dissecting every detail, every leaked document, and every insider revelation. The combination of secret pregnancies, financial exploitation, and relentless exposure by 50 Cent created a perfect storm of emotional trauma, public humiliation, and viral scandal. This tragedy also ignited a conversation about manipulation and opportunism in celebrity relationships. Allegedly, Papoose's actions, the secret child, the hidden celebrations, and financial exploitation highlight a narrative where trust is weaponized and love becomes a tool for deception. Claressa's heartbreak, now public, serves as a stark reminder of the fragile line between perception and reality in relationships entangled with fame, money, and power. The scandal continues to unfold as more leaks, insider reports, and public commentary surface. Claressa's heartbreak, once private, has become a viral phenomenon, a mix of tragedy, betrayal, and shocking revelations. Every financial transaction, every secret meeting, and every curated public image allegedly contributed to the illusion, making the eventual exposure not just shocking but devastating. 50 Cent's relentless commentary ensures the story maintains viral momentum, amplifying Claressa's heartbreak while exposing Papoose's alleged opportunism for the world to see. Allegedly, Claressa's attempts to hold on to trust, love, and loyalty were met with calculated deceit. Her grief has become a spectacle, dissected by fans, insiders, and commentators alike. The leaked documents, reports of financial misuse, and confirmation of Remy Ma's pregnancy paint a picture of betrayal that is as emotionally intense as it is public. This isn't just heartbreak.
That fool Papoose literally gave her the 1-2 punch. He was like, not only am I having another baby with my ex, I've been using your money to make sure that she's still looking good on the other side. And you ain't got no idea. And now, what's up? What's gonna happen now? You know, you just gonna have to move on because I got another baby coming. I gotta focus on Remy. Oh man, poor baby Claressa.
It's a masterclass in manipulation, a viral tragedy that blends celebrity culture with scandal, deception, and emotional devastation. As the story unfolds, Claressa's position remains heartbreaking. The man she once called a partner allegedly orchestrated a life in which she was blind to the truth, using love and trust as tools for secrecy, opportunism, and control. The viral nature of the scandal, amplified by leaks and 50 Cent's exposure, ensures that every twist, every revelation, and every emotional moment reaches millions, turning a personal tragedy into a public spectacle. The emotional intensity, the financial manipulation, the secret pregnancy, and relentless exposure converge to create a story of heartbreak, scandal, and betrayal on an unprecedented scale. Allegedly, Claressa Shields is now confronting the ultimate reality. The love she trusted, the man she believed in, and the life she envisioned were all part of a carefully orchestrated deception. Fans, media, and the public continue to watch as the scandal evolves, each new revelation adding shock value, viral traction, and emotional weight. The tragedy is clear, the heartbreak undeniable, and the viral impact unstoppable. Allegedly, the combination of secret pregnancies, financial exploitation, manipulative relationships, and public exposure makes Claressa's story a landmark moment in celebrity scandal history. The emotional devastation, intensified by social media scrutiny and aggressive commentary, has transformed Claressa's personal betrayal into a viral narrative of heartbreak, deception, and public fascination. The scandal is far from over. Every new leak, Every insider revelation and every public reaction adds fuel to a fire of viral drama, ensuring that Claressa's heartbreak, Papoose's alleged opportunism, and Remy Ma's secret pregnancy remain at the center of an emotionally intense spectacle that the world cannot ignore. Allegedly, this is a story where love, trust, and loyalty were weaponized, deception reigned supreme, and the heartbreak of one woman became a viral tragedy witnessed by millions. And now, the world is watching as Claressa Shields' heartbreak becomes more than just a story. It's a warning, a viral spectacle of betrayal, manipulation, and public exposure. The secrets, the leaks, the alleged deception by Papoose, and the shocking revelation of Remy Ma's pregnancy have turned what was private pain into a global conversation. Every detail, every document, every image confirms that this was more than heartbreak. It was a calculated series of betrayals that left a woman blindsided, exploited, and publicly humiliated. Fans are outraged.
My thing is, see, they started on shaky ground as it was already. She already knew that Papoose was still dealing with Remy when they started messing with each other. So her, in her mind, she's like, well, Remy is messing with this dude, so she shouldn't care that he's messing with me. And therefore, that was already the wrong mindset and the wrong foundation to start on, first off. Second of all, like I said, Papoose was just hurt at the fact that she went and basically gave it up to one of her workers. You feel me? So he was like, you know what? I'm gonna go find somebody that's like got some status. You know what I'm saying? And he went and found him a 2-time Olympic gold Olympic boxer. I mean, she was doing her thing. He helped her with a couple of, more opportunities to get her right. But there's no way that she could have thought that this was going to work out and that he wasn't going to still mess with his baby mama, especially when it's Remy Ma. I'm sorry. She do look better than her. Sorry.
Followers are in shock, and social media is exploding as more alleged truths emerge, each one darker, more intense, and more tragic than the last. Claressa's trust was weaponized, her love manipulated, and her life used to prop up a deception that played out in front of millions without her knowing. Now, every comment, every reaction, every post is dissecting the scale of betrayal, turning this scandal into a viral courtroom where the audience is both judge and witness. The alleged use of Claressa's finances to support a secret life, the hidden celebrations, the carefully curated public images, and the exposure of Remy Ma's pregnancy confirm one thing: nothing about this story is ordinary. This is raw emotion, heartbreak amplified, trust destroyed, and deception revealed in the harshest, most public way possible. Every fan, every viewer, every online user is part of this unfolding saga, watching tragedy, betrayal, and viral scandal collide. So keep your eyes locked, because the story isn't over. The revelations, the leaks, the heartbreak, they are only growing more intense, more shocking, and more impossible to ignore. Claressa Shields' pain, Papoose's alleged deception, and Remy Ma's secret pregnancy are a viral storm the world will be talking about for months.
Hold on.
Watch closely, react loudly, and share widely, because this is the kind of scandal that doesn't just make headlines, it makes history.
Hold up real quick. We're going to keep this thing going because I got to see. Tasha K always got something popping. What do you call it? She got the real receipts. You know what I'm saying? And I think
that's fuel to a fire in the last.
That I just
Claressa's trust was weapon.
That might
viral spectacle of betrayal. Loudly and share widely, because this is the kind of scandal that doesn't just make headlines.
There we go.
Y'all, listen. Christmas.
Okay, because it say Tasha K proves and exposes Claressa Shields was used as a cash buffer. So this will give us some more insight on not only did he get Remy Ma pregnant, but now, he did use her for her money. So we're going to go ahead and let this video rock real quick. It's all in the same content. Shout out to the 9-10 people over here in the YouTube chat. Appreciate y'all still tuning in with your boy. Let's get it.
Y'all, listen. Christmas 2025 was supposed to be soft lights, family photos, and that holiday love everybody posts for clout. But for Claressa Shields, that day allegedly turned into a quiet humiliation, one of those betrayals that doesn't scream. It just sits in your chest and rots. Because here's what's not adding up. Claressa goes live in a Louis Vuitton store, bags, flexing, a duffel bag real time. And then the receipt pops up. Her receipt. Her purchase. Her money. No confusion. No, maybe. It's right there in black and white. But hours later,
they were saying she went in there and bought her own present and then said that Papoose bought it for her. But then they had a receipt saying that she was the one that bought the stuff. But then, you know, she was like, oh, I didn't get this bag. And so when they had a thing where it made it seem like she was opening the gift from Papoose, he looked just as surprised as she was.
that same duffel bag is suddenly presented like it's a gift from Papoose. A gift? So why does the receipt say she bought it? That's the first crack. And once that crack hits, the whole storyline starts leaking. Then comes the second punch, a first door video. Same day energy. Same camera angle energy. Papoose holding the camera, just like he's been seen doing in Remy Ma's videos before. And according to the claim, the moment that footage hit DMs and started circulating, it got deleted. Mysteriously. Like somebody made a call and tried to erase the proof before the public could connect the dots. But the internet doesn't forget. And Tasha K is out here saying she already had the clip, already had what she calls proof, and that's where this turns from messy relationship talk into something darker, a financial triangle. Because the allegation isn't just cheating, it's usage, it's leverage, it's a keep her close while the marriage stays intact play. And if you're wondering why money keeps coming up, tax liens, pawn shop receipts, debt, just know this. When people are desperate, love becomes a costume and loyalty becomes a transaction. And the saddest part? If Claressa really believed she was chosen, while he was still tied to Remy, then this wasn't romance. It was a setup. Now listen to what gets said next, because this is where the...
You heard her. That was not romance. That was a setup. Bars.
tone changes and the trick language starts showing exactly how they allegedly saw her.
I need a trick. I gotta put my glasses on, James. Hold on for a second. I need a trick.
If you don't know who that is, that's Tasha K, man. I be trying not to do too many videos with her because I don't know if we can use her and do reaction videos and not get banned, or if you, I don't know. But she's one of my favorite bloggers too. She's funny as heck.
I need a trick. I need a trick. Woo! Papoose was out here looking for a trick. And he got one. Yeah, beautiful girl. Beautiful. Gorgeous girl. Y'all ain't gonna tell me Claressa ugly. I'm sorry, she's not. Shit. Don't care what 50 Cent got.
Christmas 2025 was supposed to be symbolic. Warm lights, chosen family, a moment where absence and presence both mean something. But in this story, Christmas didn't bring clarity. It exposed contradiction. Publicly, Claressa Shields said something simple, disarming, almost fragile. I was alone on Christmas. No theatrics, no rage. Just a sentence that framed her as isolated, emotionally and physically. And for a moment, people believed that was the whole truth. But the internet doesn't stop at statements. It follows timelines. And timelines don't lie, they collide. Because on that same day, while the narrative of loneliness was settling in, Claressa was live on camera inside a Louis Vuitton store. Not days later, not weeks before. That exact holiday window, luxury lighting, designer shelves, expensive bags, a duffel bag, front and center. Then came the detail that changed everything. The receipt. Not hidden. Not leaked by a third party. Posted. Clear enough to read. Clear enough.
Whew. She couldn't even hide the receipt. Come on, Claressa, man. If you gonna do a front, man, you gotta cover all your P's and Q's. You can't sit there and say that somebody else bought the bag for you and you got the receipt right there in the store. Come on. This fool Papoose. He's a mean one, Mr. Grunge. Shout out to the chat, man. Appreciate all 15 of y'all that's over here in the YouTube chat. 5 over there in the Twitter chat, man. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe. Let's go.
Timestamp. Clear enough to prove one thing beyond opinion. The duffel bag wasn't a gift. It was purchased by Claressa. And that's where the first fracture appeared. Because hours later, not days, that same duffel bag reappeared. This time not on a store shelf, but in Papoose's hands, framed as if it were something he had given her. A gift. The implication was obvious. The contradiction was louder. If it was a gift, Why was the receipt hers? That question didn't scream. It didn't trend instantly. It lingered. And when questions linger, people start pulling threads. What unraveled next wasn't romance drama. It was pattern recognition. Because the story didn't just crack, it split. Later that same day, a video surfaced from a fur store. The setting was different, but the energy felt familiar. The camera angle, the grip, the positioning. Papoose was holding the camera, the same way he had in past videos featuring Remy Ma. Not speculation, visual consistency. And then, almost as quickly as the clip appeared, it vanished. Deleted. Not buried by time. Not lost in the algorithm. Removed. According to the store owner, the deletion wasn't accidental. It wasn't delayed. It came after a call. A call that said, take it down. By then, though, it was already too late. Because the clip had landed somewhere else first. With Tasha K. At that moment, the story stopped being about whether a bag was a...
It's a wrap. If you get to Tasha K, it's a wrap. It's out there. It is out there.
gift. It became about who was where and when. And that's where the claim hardened. Papoose, Claressa, and Remy Ma were all in the same city on the same day during the same holiday window. That's when the
That's a pretty
explanation
picture.
changed. Suddenly, it
That's
was
a pretty picture right there. What couple look better together? What y'all think? Claressa and Papoose, or Papoose and Remy? I don't know, man. The original always looked better to me than the carbon copy. You know what I mean? But damn, they played Claressa like that.
they weren't together. It became, those were 2 different days. But timelines don't bend easily.
I gotta line this up.
Same
All
outfit, same camera handling,
back.
same store environment, different days, with identical details. That explanation didn't land. It hovered. And hovering explanations invite deeper scrutiny.
Hold on. You gotta get past this commercial. Appreciate y'all tuning in, though, man. Make sure y'all press the like button, comment, subscribe, share. Love y'all.
This is where Tasha K makes the statement that shifts the tone from investigative to unsettling. Not as fact, not as proof, but as instinct. Allegedly. She says her spirit tells her something is still happening behind the scenes. That the marriage was never fully interrupted. That what the public saw wasn't separation. It was compartmentalization. And suddenly, the triangle redefines itself. This isn't a love triangle. It's a financial triangle. One person emotionally available. One marriage legally intact. And one flow of money keeping everything suspended. And money is where the story darkens. Because alongside these timeline contradictions, another claim surfaces, one that raises a harder question. Claressa was allegedly shown an $8 million win records deal. A number that changes lives. A number that stabilizes futures. But it also raises a simple, unavoidable question. If Papoose was allegedly broke, where would that money come from? This is where Tasha K drops what she calls receipts. Pawn shop records, jewelry, chains, bracelets, items that once signaled wealth, now documented as collateral. According to Remy Ma's own past statements, Papoose wasn't helping with bills. He wasn't contributing financially.
Papoose was out here pawning all his stuff to try to compensate for an $8 million deal that, that he had just got her for Win Records. You feel me? Like, I'm telling you, boy, the front is real, boy. The struggle is real on all levels. And some of them make it look good until they don't. You feel me?
He was put out. And shortly after, he was reportedly living in Claressa's apartment, driving Claressa's car, surrounded by Claressa's resources. Even the jewelry moment turns tragic when you slow it down. A chain given as a birthday gift. Claressa calling it new, then asking a quiet question. Where's yours?
Where's yours?
Because the chain wasn't new. It was his. And that realization doesn't explode. It sinks. This is the moment where part 1 pivots from public spectacle into something more intimate and more disturbing. Because when resources shift hands without transparency and affection overlaps with dependency, intention becomes blurred. And the final beat of this chapter lands.
My dog didn't even have enough money to get her a new chain. He gave her his chain, and she whispered to him after he gave her the chain. She goes, "Where's yours?" And he didn't have nothing to say. Damn.
With documentation, not emotion. In an old video, Remy Ma addresses Papoose directly. Not by nickname. By name. Willie. That matters. Because Willie leads to William/Will Mackey. And that name opens a different door. Public records. 13 years of unpaid taxes. Federal tax liens. 6 figures. Multiple filings. Property encumbered. Not gossip. Paper. At this point, the story no longer feels like celebrity mess. It feels like a structure under strain, one propped up by money moving quietly while narratives stay loud. And just before this part closes, the footage that set all of this in motion is addressed directly.
I'm sad to report. Because here's the thing, the Christmas thing, we gotta go back to 2025. I'm so sorry about this, y'all. We gotta rewind it back. I gotta do one spin for this. We gotta rewind it back, okay? So the Christmas thing had me bothered. Had a lot of y'all bothered. Claressa spent Christmas alone. She was live in the Louis Vuitton store buying Louis Vuitton bags and a duffel bag. Posted the receipt of the duffel bag online, had Papoose give her a Louis Vuitton box with a duffel bag in it, and forgot that she had posted the receipt stating that she bought the duffel bag that he gave her. Then she said, hey, can you get this online so people would think you bought me something? Okay, cool. I'm gonna sit down right here like this. All right, right there. Put the camera up. Let's go. Same way he was holding the camera for Remy mom that she claims that he was not with on Christmas Day.
The audience now understands the contradiction. They've seen the receipt. They've heard the framing. The illusion is visible. But the final note of this part isn't about illusion. It's about erasure. Because the first store video didn't just disappear, it was removed after pressure. And that brings us to the moment that locks this chapter in place.
And when this video came out, and they put it in my DM and I posted it, the owner of this fur coat store deleted the videos. He got a call mysteriously to delete immediately, but too late. Tasha K already had it, bro.
That fool was out there buying Remy a fur coat, huh? Fur coats for Remy while Claressa was at the house by herself on Christmas. Damn! Papoose is a savage.
Proof that they was together on Christmas.
Oh, man.
He was with his kids, his wives, Remy. He held the camera when Remy did her little video.
Oh, man.
Not with certainty, not with closure, but with a realization. If videos are being deleted, if timelines don't align, if money is moving quietly, and if marriages are never officially ending, then this story isn't about what people said. It's about what they tried to erase. By the time the receipts, deleted videos, and Christmas contradictions settled in, one question refused to go away. Why did money keep surfacing in a story that was supposed to be about love? At first, it appeared subtle. A bag here, a car there, an apartment switch that no one officially explained. But then the narrative began to tilt not toward romance, but toward survival. Because affection can be faked, but debt cannot. This is the point where the story stops floating in speculation and drops into paperwork. Numbers, records, filings that don't care about celebrity status or public sympathy. According to claims raised publicly, the version of Papoose being presented, generous, stable, financially supportive, did not align with what was quietly sitting in public records.
This website called Hint. It shows you what your soulmate looks like.
We got a little commercial real quick.
This is what I got. Tell me why this looks exactly like the girl that works in the coffee place
Thank
next
you
to my
very much
house.
for that, Miss
Like,
Cookie. Appreciate
we're
you.
same eyes, same smile.
Working
We
hard.
cross paths almost every morning, and now
Supportive did not align with what was quietly sitting in public records. And this is
Hold on a second. Let me line this back up.
where the name matters. Not the stage name, the legal one. Because once that name surfaced, the past stopped being blurry. Years, not months, not one missed payment, not two, but over a decade. Tax obligations allegedly left unpaid year after year.
There we
Lien
go.
stacking.
We back lined
Notices
up.
compounding. Numbers that don't disappear just because the spotlight moves on. At this stage, the story becomes uncomfortable for a different reason. Because it introduces motive. If someone is carrying unresolved financial pressure, the kind that follows you no matter where you live or who you're seen with, then every relationship becomes strategic by default. Support stops being emotional. It becomes logistical. This reframes everything that came before. The luxury purchases no longer look celebratory. The living arrangements no longer look temporary. And the gift framing no longer feels romantic. It feels necessary. And then the spotlight shifts. Because while one side of this triangle was allegedly struggling under years of unpaid obligations, another side was quietly facing their own financial gravity. Remy Ma. According to records discussed publicly, she was not standing on solid ground either, allegedly carrying a tax burden so heavy it reshaped the entire narrative. Over $600,000. That number changes behavior. That
Yes,
number
it
turns
do.
silence into strategy. And when two people are bound by history, reputation, and shared exposure, money becomes the glue that keeps them aligned, even when emotions fracture. This is where the story sharpens. Because if both sides of a marriage are under financial strain, then separation isn't just emotional. It's dangerous.
Yep.
Divorce stops being about freedom. It becomes about collapse. And that's when the third point of the triangle begins to look less like a partner and more like a solution. Claressa Shields. Publicly strong. Financially active. Earning in real time. This is where the allegation cuts deepest. Not that she was involved, but that she was positioned. Positioned as emotional cover. Positioned as financial relief. Positioned as someone close enough to absorb pressure without knowing the full weight of it. The language used to describe her role is harsh and deliberately so. A buffer. A lick. A cash machine. Not words of love. Words of function. And when you replay the earlier moments through that lens, the behavior changes shape. The duffel bag isn't a gift, it's optics. The apartment isn't comfort, it's shelter. The jewelry isn't romance, it's rotation. And suddenly, the Christmas
Damn.
silence doesn't feel
She
accidental.
said the jewelry
It
is
feels managed.
rotation.
Because while Claressa says she was alone, the claim is that Papoose was elsewhere, with family, with his wife, with stability that never officially ended. That's not a loud betrayal. That's the quietest kind. The kind that lets someone believe in a future while the present is already decided. And then comes the moment that hardens speculation into something closer to documentation. Not a rumor, not a feeling, but a statement tied directly to records.
And so that's why we weren't able to find details on Papoose and his financial records. And it took us a long time to get these. But when we got these and we saw that he currently owes and has not paid taxes for the past, not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, not
Damn.
6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10.
Once that clip lands, the air changes.
Damn.
Because now the audience isn't reacting to gossip.
They said Papoose ain't paid his taxes in over 10 to 11 years. Yeah.
They're reacting to scale. 13 years. That's not oversight.
13.
That's avoidance. And avoidance, when paired with luxury imagery and emotional narratives, creates a split reality. One for the public, one for survival. This is the point where the theory of a fake deal begins to circulate not as accusation, but as logic. If money is promised but never transferred, if a deal exists on paper but not in cash, if the reassurance is enough to keep someone invested, then the benefit isn't the payout. It's the patience. And patience buys time. Time to avoid consequences. Time to delay exposure. Time to keep everything unresolved. Which brings us back to the divorce that didn't happen. The withdrawal that raised eyebrows. Because if separation would trigger financial reckoning, shared assets examined, obligations exposed, debts surfaced, then staying together quietly becomes the safest move. And in that silence, Claressa's role becomes tragically clear. Not as a villain, but as collateral. Someone whose earnings could float debts without questions. Someone whose public presence could distract from records. Someone whose belief could be leveraged without paperwork. This isn't a love triangle.
Claressa was the perfect cover-up. She was the perfect lick if you want to go on the bad side of things, man. Like, I was really thinking that Papoose was on some, I'm trying to move on, and this is my come up. You messed up, Remy. You went for a worker. I went for a boss, and now look who's on top. You know what I'm saying? But this turning out to be a complete money flush. And she had no idea. Po tank.
It's a pressure triangle. And pressure doesn't need affection to operate. It just needs access. By the end of this part, the story no longer asks whether Claressa was misled. It asks something colder. Was she ever meant to know? Because when relationships are structured around avoidance, honesty becomes a liability. And the silence around the marriage, the silence around the finances, the silence around the deleted footage, they all start to sound the same. Controlled. Heart doesn't end with outrage. It ends with realization that the biggest danger in this story wasn't betrayal. It was invisibility. By the time the money trail surfaced, the story had already crossed a point of no return. This was no longer about receipts, videos, or timelines that didn't line up. It was about what silence can do when it's stretched long enough to feel intentional. Because silence, in this case, wasn't absence. It was structure. Up until now, every contradiction could still be dismissed as coincidence. Every overlap could be waved away as misunderstanding. Every financial question could be reframed as business. But there comes a moment in stories like this where the silence itself becomes louder than any allegation. And that moment arrives when the roles are finally named. Not publicly, not officially, but privately in the language used when people believe no one is listening. This is where the narrative turns cold. Because the claim isn't just that Claressa was misled. It's that she was positioned. Positioned to believe she was chosen, while the marriage she thought had ended was never actually dismantled. Positioned to feel emotionally special, while legally everything stayed exactly where it was. Positioned to keep investing time, loyalty, money into something that had no intention of becoming real. That's the difference between heartbreak and design. Heartbreak happens when plans fall apart. Design happens when plans were never meant to include you. And this is where the language used behind closed doors matters more than any public post. According to what has been alleged, Claressa wasn't treated like a partner. She was treated like a function. A buffer when pressure rose. A shield when finances tightened. A distraction when attention needed redirecting. That's why the phrase that surfaces later hits so hard. Not because it's dramatic, but because it's revealing. You are the lick. Words like that don't come from love. They come from calculation. They suggest a mindset where someone isn't seen as a person, but as a resource. And when you revisit everything through that lens, the emotional pieces rearrange themselves. The Christmas claim of being alone stops sounding like self-pity. It starts sounding like realization. Because while Claressa says she spent that day alone.
And that's what's crazy, man. Like, whenever you like a good person, people always end up turning like your help and like your good deeds into something like them calling it you becoming the lick. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the worst feeling in the world, is to feel like, what do you call it? Somebody that took advantage of you when you really cared about that person. You know what I mean? The lick.
The claim remains that Papoose was with his wife and child, exactly where the law still recognized him to be. That isn't chaos. That's order. An order Claressa wasn't part of. This is the emotional core of the story, not the scandal, not the gossip, but the quiet moment when someone understands that what they were experiencing wasn't a relationship. It was proximity. And proximity can be withdrawn at any time. This is where the allegation about the divorce becomes critical. Because divorces don't just end marriages, they expose finances. They trigger audits. They force transparency. They drag private arrangements into legal daylight. And according to what's been claimed, that daylight never came. The divorce didn't move forward. It was withdrawn. And that decision reframes everything. Because if separation would collapse the...
So they never even had the divorce. Like, it was a separation going on, but they withdrew the divorce. And she didn't even know. So this fool Papoose never planned on moving on in the first place. He was, dirty.
Financial structure holding two people together, then staying married becomes strategic, even if emotionally distant. And in that strategy, Claressa's role becomes tragic. Not because she was foolish, but because she was excluded from the truth. This is where the story steps away from celebrity culture and into something more uncomfortable. Because it asks a question people don't like to confront. How many relationships exist only to protect something else? Reputation, debt, stability, control. And how often is love used as the language that hides those motives? As this pressure builds, the claims become sharper. That the so-called $8 million deal wasn't meant to be cashed. That it was reassurance, not revenue. That its purpose was to keep Claressa invested, emotionally and financially, long enough for other problems to be managed quietly. And if that's true, then the final reveal isn't about money. It's about intention. Because once someone understands they were never meant to cross from access into commitment, the illusion collapses. This is where the interview lands, not as entertainment, but as exposure.
The man is not divorcing his wife.
All right, hold on. We got to get back. Tasha K, she's so loud. Florida baby.
She's not divorcing him because you are the lick. He is going to help his wife to get out of debt using the money that you make from fighting. So in my opinion, he's giving you a fake $8 million deal, which is credit.
Damn.
It's there. But if you go win, you don't need it. There's no money.
After this clip, there's no going back to ambiguity. Because this isn't framed as jealousy. It isn't framed as bitterness. It's framed as warning. A warning that Claressa may be funding a structure designed to exclude her. A warning that the marriage she believed was over never actually ended. A warning that her silence has been convenient for people who benefit from it. And this is where the ending becomes unavoidable. Tasha K's conclusion isn't loud. It's final. She doesn't say the relationship ended. She says it never started. Because starting requires honesty. Starting requires freedom. Starting requires the absence of another legal commitment.
Hold on.
And none of those...
I gotta take that back real quick. For those of you that just tuned back in, Tasha K just dropped a bomb for real. 1913. Yeah, let me go ahead and line that back up. That was crazy. Appreciate y'all tuning in, man. Hold on. I had to rewind this for those that just got here. All right, let's go.
Illusion collapses. This is where the interview lands, not as entertainment, but as exposure.
The man is not divorcing his wife. She's not divorcing him because you are the lick.
You hear it, right? She said that Papoose is not divorcing Remy, and Remy is not divorcing Papoose. Claressa, you are the lick.
He is going to help his wife to get out of debt using the money that you make from fighting. So in my opinion, he's giving you a fake $8 million deal, which is credit. It's there. But if you go win, you don't need it. There's no money.
After this clip, there's no going back to ambiguity. Because this isn't framed as jealousy. It isn't framed as bitterness.
She said it ain't no money. She said that, what do you call it? He gave her a fake $8 million deal just to keep her invested. So that way he'll be able to cover the expenses of his wife that he's not divorcing on the side, which is not the side, which means that she's still the main, and that Claressa is now the side chick when she thought that she was the main chick. Man.
It's framed as warning. A warning that Claressa may be funding a structure designed to exclude her. A warning that the marriage she believed was over never actually ended. A warning that her silence has been convenient for people who benefit from it. And this is where the ending becomes unavoidable. Tasha K's conclusion isn't loud. It's final. She doesn't say the relationship ended. She says it never started. Because starting requires honesty.
Damn.
Starting requires freedom. Starting requires the absence of another legal commitment. And none of those conditions were present. So what remains is a choice. Not for the audience. For Claressa. Does she walk away and force the structure into daylight? Or does she stay quiet and continue absorbing the cost of a system that was never built for her benefit? That's why this story doesn't feel like gossip anymore.
Hold on, I got to talk to the people in the chat real quick. Carol Robinson, say it ain't so. This can't be true. This is sad because, man, shout out to the Black Love, man, but at the end of the day, this is crazy, man. Like, why would you do that to somebody that you actually care about? You know what I'm saying? Money makes people do some of the most evil things. You know what I mean? And it's crazy because, like, it don't have to be that way. I really thought that Papoose was was digging Claressa. But from from these two videos back to back, from the proof that he got Remy Ma pregnant again, to them announcing the fact that they withdrew the divorce papers, so there was no intention of getting divorced. So why was he so public with Claressa like that, making it seem like he was moving on? It was all because it was a money play. He gave her a fake $8 million record deal, allegedly. All of this is allegedly, okay? Allegedly. And yeah, she was just along for the ride, man. That's crazy, bro.
It feels like a pattern. Powerful men. Ambiguous relationships. Women kept close but not included. Money used to stabilize silence. And patterns don't disappear when you ignore them. They repeat. This part doesn't end with outrage. It ends with clarity. Because once someone sees they were never part of the plan, the only real question left is how long they're willing to pay for believing otherwise. And this is where the story stops being entertainment and starts feeling personal. Because if even half of what's been alleged is true, then this wasn't confusion. It wasn't miscommunication. It wasn't bad timing. It was design. Carefully paced. Quietly managed. Emotionally expensive. Claressa didn't lose a relationship. She lost clarity. She was allowed to believe in proximity while commitment stayed somewhere else. Allowed to invest while the structure around her.
You know what? I'm going to take it back one more time to where Tasha K was talking, because I got 25 people in here right now. I want y'all to hear what was just said. She just blew the top off of that thing, boy. She called Claressa the lick. Hold on. Let me line this up real quick. Make sure y'all press the like button if you like the video. Make sure y'all share, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell for the next video. I love each and every one of y'all, man. Appreciate y'all tuning in. All right, let's get it.
Illusion collapses. This is where the interview lands, not as entertainment, but as exposure.
The man is not divorcing his wife.
Okay.
She's not divorcing him because you are the lick. He is going to help his wife to get out of debt using the money that you make from fighting. So in my opinion, he's giving you a fake $8 million deal, which is great. It's there. But if you go win, you don't need it. There's no money.
Because this isn't framed as jealousy. It isn't framed as bitterness. It's framed as warning. A warning that Claressa may be funding a structure designed to exclude her. A warning that the marriage she believed was over never actually ended. A warning that her silence has been convenient for people who benefit from it. And this is where the ending becomes unavoidable. Tasha K's conclusion isn't loud. It's final. She doesn't say the relationship ended. She says it never started. Because starting requires honesty. Starting requires freedom. Starting requires the absence of another legal commitment. And none of those conditions were present. So what remains is a choice. Not for the audience. For Claressa. Does she walk away and force the structure into daylight?
I ain't gonna lie though, man. Remy looking good. Remy looking good, boy. It's just, it's like, what was the point in them stepping out though if they were just gonna be together again anyway? Makes no sense. That's what I'm saying. This public stuff, it's a different ball game.
Or does she stay quiet and continue absorbing the cost of a system that was never built for her benefit? That's why this story doesn't feel like gossip anymore. It feels like a pattern. Powerful men. Ambiguous relationships. Women kept close but not included. Money used to stabilize silence. And patterns don't disappear when you ignore them. They repeat. This part doesn't end with outrage. It ends with clarity. Because once someone sees they were never part of the plan, the only real question left is how long they're willing to pay for believing otherwise. And this is where the story stops being entertainment and starts feeling personal. Because if even half of what's been alleged is true, then this wasn't confusion. It wasn't miscommunication. It wasn't bad timing. It was design. Carefully paced. Quietly managed. Emotionally expensive. Claressa didn't lose a relationship. She lost clarity. She was allowed to believe in proximity while commitment stayed somewhere else. Allowed to invest while the structure around her remained untouched. Allowed to stand in the spotlight while decisions were being made in rooms she was never invited into. That's not heartbreak. That's positioning. And the most dangerous part isn't the money. It's the silence. Because silence protects systems. Silence keeps debt hidden. Silence lets marriages stay legally intact while emotions are outsourced elsewhere.
That's wild.
This is how people get used without ever being openly rejected. No breakup. No honesty. No clean ending. Just distance disguised as affection. If you're watching this and thinking this could never happen to you, that's exactly why stories like this keep repeating. Because they don't start with lies. They start with access. They start with reassurance. They start with promises that sound real enough to delay questions. Until one day, the receipts surface. The videos disappear. The timelines collide. And the truth feels heavier than the lie ever did. So ask yourself this. If the relationship was real, why did it need so much silence to survive? If the intentions were pure, why does everything only make sense when you follow the money? This isn't about picking sides. It's about recognizing patterns. Because patterns don't care who you are. They only care that you stay quiet long enough to benefit someone else. And once you see that, you can't unsee it. So the question isn't what happens next in this story. The question is who's willing to keep paying for the version of it that was never real.
Sorry, we're gonna keep this stream going, man. It's all on the same.
You have my lawyer's information.
Hold up. There we go.
If you can't afford to retain a lawyer, since your lawyer that the number you gave us has not been retained yet, I told you our paper If somebody over there that loves you wants to paper it, great. That will make me happy. Everything is signed and ready to go. I don't want nothing. I'm not even asking for child support. My daughter's school.
All right, this video is talking about Claressa Shields cries after being misled by Remy Ma and Papoose. So in this video right here, she's over here saying that, what do you call it, if he can't afford to pay for the divorce papers, what do you call it, then oh well. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, this is crazy.
Her babysitter, her nanny, her gymnastics, her swimming, her dancing, her healthcare, her all of that. I take care of it like I've always done. I don't need any.
I just like to express this one thing. All these girls be like, thank you to my man. And I want to say, to my hands, thank you to my hands. To
All right,
my
I was wondering
hands,
what 50
thank
had
you
to
to my
say too. I
hands.
was waiting for it.
Listen, for me knowing how to fight and me training hard.
Yeah, because they said 50 had something to say about it, but he been trolling Claressa for like the last week and a half, 2 weeks about Papoose, and I think they just threw that in there. I hate when they be clickbaiting too, man. We all reacted to this at the same time, These are live reactions. I don't watch the video ahead of time. I watch it with you. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate y'all tapping in. Press the like button.
I make millions of dollars for just beating people up. So, to my hands, thank you to my hands.
What you just heard sounds powerful on the surface. A woman saying she doesn't need anything. No money, no child support, no help. But statements like that don't appear in a vacuum. Because when someone repeatedly insists they are independent, self-sufficient, and untouched by outside influence, it usually means a different story is already circulating behind the scenes. A story that requires correction. A narrative that needs to be controlled before it hardens into public belief. Claressa Shields wants the world to know she stands on her own hands, literally and financially. And there's no question she's earned her success. But strength doesn't cancel contradiction. And confidence doesn't erase context. What complicates this story is not what Claressa says, it's why she feels compelled to say it so forcefully. Because this isn't just about money. It's about positioning. About distancing herself from assumptions people are already making about her relationship with Papoose. This is where things stop being simple. Because while Claressa presents herself as untouched by dependency, the timeline of her connection with a married man tells a far more tangled story, one filled with mixed signals, blurred boundaries, and carefully chosen words. A story where emotional access appears before clarity, where explanations change depending on who is what.
See, they've been trying to sugarcoat it for this whole time. They finally calling it for what it is. Claressa messing with a married man, and now her feelings is hurt because he done got his pregnant wife. He done got his wife pregnant, and she can't do nothing about that. Start off bad, end off bad.
And where one woman speaks as if another woman no longer exists. At the center of it all is a man who never publicly defines the situation, yet benefits from every version of it. This is not a story about clout. It's not a story about jealousy. And it's not about who makes more money. It's a story about emotional imbalance, selective truth, and how silence can be just as strategic as speech. And once you look closely, the cracks become impossible to ignore.
That's why I said I love him. I love having his support. You know what I'm saying? His support is like very, very different from what I've had in the past. And how he speaks to me and stuff is very different. There you go. We deserve each other.
At the center of this story is a contradiction that never quite resolves itself. Claressa Shields has repeatedly stated that she does not lie for clout. That truth always comes out. That she has no reason to fabricate, exaggerate, or distort reality because her achievements speak for themselves. On paper, that sounds reasonable. But public credibility isn't measured by confidence alone. It's measured by consistency. And that's where the cracks begin to show. Because when you line up Claressa's statements across time, platforms, and contexts, the story doesn't move forward in a straight line. It bends. It adjusts. And sometimes it quietly rewrites itself. The first version of events was simple, harmless, even. Papoose was just a fan. A brief interaction, a handshake, a compliment about her beauty. That was the narrative presented publicly, a chance encounter, nothing more. But later, details emerged that complicated that framing. Claressa herself acknowledged that she was the one who initiated direct contact. She was the one who reached out privately. She was the one who offered VIP tickets. That alone changes the dynamic. Because that's no longer passive admiration. That's access. Intentional access. And access always carries implication. At that point, this stops being about a fan moment and starts becoming about emotional proximity. Not a relationship yet, but a door opening. And once that door opens, boundaries matter more than ever. This is where Clarissa's explanations begin to collide with documented reality. One of her most repeated claims is that she could not see Papoose because he was with his family and child. That she was not allowed. That circumstances, not choices, kept them apart. But those statements do not exist in a vacuum. Because long before Claressa entered the picture, boundaries had already been established, not by rumor, not by fans, but within the marriage itself. Remy Ma had publicly and privately made it clear that their child does not spend time alone at the family house without her presence. If the child is there, Remy is there. If Papoose is with the child, it is typically within Remy's household. That matters. It means the idea that Claressa was blocked because of a child arrangement doesn't align with how that family structure actually functions. Which raises a question Claressa never directly answers. If Papoose was unavailable, who exactly was he unavailable with? That question becomes more
Remy,
uncomfortable when Claressa later attempts to clarify the situation herself, stepping into the comments, pushing back on what she calls misinformation. She states that Papoose was with his mother and family. That people are assuming things that aren't true. But then comes the contradiction. Because other timelines suggest that Papoose was, in fact, with Remy Ma, even if only briefly. And that detail changes everything.
You think he was with you think he was with his mama, or you think he was with Remy Ma? You feel me? That fool was funny as hell. I was with the mother and family. Nah, you was with Remy Ma, getting them cheeks. Her ass is pregnant right now. Oh man, Papoose.
Because Claressa does something subtle, but telling at that point. She begins referring to Remy as an ex-wife. That is not a neutral mistake. It's a psychological one. Because legally, socially, and factually, Remy Ma was still Papoose's wife.
Yep.
No finalized divorce. No public separation announcement at that time. The label ex wasn't a legal reality, it was a mental one. And when someone mentally removes a spouse from the equation before reality does, disappointment becomes inevitable. At this point in the story, the internet begins doing what it always does, filling in gaps. Some theories suggest manipulation. Others suggest mutual benefit. A few even claim that Claressa was being used by both sides. But those theories fall apart under scrutiny. Both women are financially independent. Both have their own platforms, income, and public standing. There is no incentive for a coordinated scheme. No material advantage gained through deception. What remains isn't strategy, it's imbalance. And imbalance is far more dangerous. Claressa appears emotionally invested in a way that Papoose does not publicly reciprocate. She speaks in emotional terms. He remains largely silent. She defends. He benefits. She explains. He allows. And that silence, that absence of clarification, becomes its own form of control.
It'll be 2 years next year in September. We at the end of the year. Some of this stuff is just so old. You know, it's so old to talk about, to bring up, to keep harping on it. It's like they're separated. She got somebody too. Like, don't act like it's just over here. Like,
you saw the way he looked. look at that fool Papoose face. She over here spilling all the tea. She talking about she got somebody too. He's like, damn, come on, bro. Don't put it all out there like that. Hold on real quick. We gotta open this back up.
she's happy. We're happy. And that's it. Like, I don't know what
Is it cordial though? Is it cordial or you just... It was corny. It's always corny to do social media shit. You know what I'm saying? Who wants that? Who wants to be a part of the circus? So I just felt like it was corny.
This is where the tone shifts. Because that statement isn't about love. It isn't about clarity. It's about closure, forced closure. The kind that dismisses questions instead of answering them. By calling it old, the implication is that the audience is late. That curiosity itself is inappropriate. But timelines don't expire just because someone says they should. And notice what's missing here. There is no confirmation, no definition, no ownership of overlap. Just emotional minimization. A suggestion that everyone should move on even though the situation was never publicly resolved to begin with. Yep. When people rush to declare happiness without explaining the transition, skepticism is natural. Things grow even murkier when visual evidence enters the picture. At one point, Papoose and Remy Ma are seen on the same day, in the same location. Shortly after, the video disappears. No explanation, No clarification.
They
Just
paid for
removal.
that video.
And removal is rarely accidental. The time
Talking about the video just disappeared. Nah, them fools paid for that video to get took down so that way Claressa wouldn't see it, but it was already leaked. And social media, man, social media, the people that be on top of this, they be on top of it, boy. They don't miss a beat.
alone invites speculation. Because once people begin comparing timestamps, locations, and narratives, silence becomes louder than denial. The internet doesn't need confirmation, it only needs inconsistency. This is where the analyst's perspective becomes unavoidable. Remy Ma, by most accounts, appears emotionally finished. Not angry, not dramatic, just done. The child remains the connection, not the relationship. Her energy suggests closure, not conflict. Claressa, on the other hand, appears deeply attached, emotionally expressive, defensive, invested. She speaks with intensity, loyalty, and protection, traits often mistaken for strength, but frequently rooted in vulnerability. And then there's Papoose.
She panicked.
Consistently undefined, consistently uncommitted in language, consistently positioned to gain. He presents authority without accountability, protection without promise, presence without permanence. And Claressa appears drawn to the calm, the control, the safety-adjacent aura of someone who never has to explain himself. That dynamic has a name: opportunism. Not in the financial sense, but in the emotional one. Remaining where benefit exists, leaving when it doesn't, saying just enough to maintain access, saying nothing when clarity would cost something. And that is where heartbreak is born. Because when one person operates from emotion and the other from calculation, the outcome is never mutual fulfillment. It's delayed disappointment. The lesson here isn't about cheating, clout, or
Who y'all think is a better couple? Claressa and Papoose or Claressa and Remy? I mean, Claressa and Remy. Or Remy and Papoose. You feel me? I mean, technically, he's still with Remy. And he was with Claressa. So is he breaking up with Claressa right now? I don't know.
It's about priorities. Claressa believed in emotion. She believed in support. She believed in words and gestures. But Papoose's actions, his timing, his silence, his continued alignment with his wife and child tell a different story. One of obligation over affection, structure over spontaneity. If you want to know where someone's heart truly lies, you don't look at interviews. You don't look at captions. You look at holidays, at family time, at where they are when they don't have to perform. Because that's where truth lives. And in this story, truth didn't need to be spoken. It was already visible in who stayed, who waited, and who was never fully chosen. By the time the story reaches its second act, something subtle but critical has changed. The silence is gone. Not because clarity arrived, but because celebration did. For weeks, the narrative surrounding Claressa Shields and Papoose existed in a gray area. Carefully worded statements, defensive explanations, timelines that blurred instead of sharpened. Every question.
Hold on, let's get past this little commercial here. Make sure y'all press the like button, comment, share, subscribe. Love y'all.
Met with dismissal. Every concern labeled old news. And then suddenly, the tone flipped. What was once guarded became performative. What was once private became public. And what was once denied became proudly displayed. This is often the most revealing phase of any controversy, not when people explain themselves, but when they decide explanation is no longer necessary. Because confidence, when real, doesn't need spectacle. The shift begins with optics. Luxury, laughter, affection in full view. At first glance, it looks harmless, even wholesome. A man showing up for a woman. Support made visible. Happiness documented. But context is everything. And when you place these moments against the unresolved questions still hanging in the air, the display stops feeling spontaneous and starts feeling strategic. This is no longer about whether something happened. It's about when it's being shown and why now. Claressa has spent months asserting independence, emphasizing that she needs no one, that she stands alone, that no man funds her lifestyle or defines her worth. And yet, when emotional tension peaks, the imagery changes. Gifts appear, praise flows, cameras stay rolling, and the message subtly shifts from "I don't need anything" to "look at what I'm receiving." That contradiction matters. Because when emotional validation replaces explanation, it often signals insecurity, not strength. At the same time, another figure remains noticeably absent from the frame, yet central to the truth of it all: Remy Ma. While Claressa's world becomes louder, Remy's remains quiet. No public sparring, no clarification posts, no counter-narrative, just silence. And silence, when consistent, is rarely accidental. It suggests resolution or detachment. Observers close to the situation have noted this contrast. One woman.
Well, clearly she ain't detached because they got attached to make another baby. That part.
Amplifies emotion. The other withdraws. One performs connection. The other maintains distance. That imbalance is telling, because emotional energy doesn't flow evenly here. Claressa appears emotionally invested to the point of defense. Papoose appears comfortable, praised, and publicly celebrated without ever defining the relationship in clear terms. And Remy Ma appears finished, tethered only by shared responsibility, not affection. That triangle creates a power imbalance that no amount of luxury can mask.
So y'all knew my man had to come through for the baddest, for his queen. He came, Louis Vuitton travel, right there with the travel. You're gonna have to use it. This is
nice. She bought that for herself and had that fool Pap act like he bought it for her.
Whoa. Okay. Wow. The gym bag?
Yeah, it's duffel. So when you travel.
Fuck that. I'm taking this motherfucker to the gym. I'm putting gym clothes in here. I'm about to go to the gym Lou bag. Like, yo, she rich for real. Yeah, I come to the gym Lou bag. Pat about to come for Christmas.
Yeah, you said, man, Claressa Shields, Papoose, you see the love? You just dropped the bag on it.
Wow.
Literally, a bag, money, and some Louis Vuitton bags. You see how happy she is? This is a beautiful black love that you see here, man.
Oh, I can't wait.
Love to see this. Her next fight is going to be amazing. All this joy that she got. Man, hey, shout out to Claressa Shields, shout out to Papoose. We love to see this, man. This is a beautiful type of love. You can really see the love. You see the joy on her face with this. Like, look at this.
I don't know if he's
On the
serious or not.
surface, this moment is
But that
framed
was
as
funny,
joy,
though.
as affirmation, as proof that everything is fine. But beneath the praise and applause, the subtext tells a different story. Because love that needs constant validation often isn't secure. And when gifts are highlighted more than boundaries, something is being compensated for. This is where the analyst's lens becomes unavoidable. Papoose's role throughout this entire situation has remained remarkably consistent. He does not deny. He does not confirm. He does not correct. He allows narratives to form around him while staying just quiet enough to benefit from all of them. That is not passivity.
Nah, man, that's it. He just be like, if I don't say nothing, you can't say I said it. You feel me? That right there is plausible deniability. Papoose is crazy, cuz.
That is positioning. By never fully committing to one version of events, he maintains flexibility, emotional access without accountability, affection without obligation, support without sacrifice. Claressa, meanwhile, appears drawn to what that represents: stability adjacent authority, protection without exposure, the illusion of certainty in a situation defined by ambiguity. But ambiguity always has a cost, and that cost is usually paid by the person who feels the most. This becomes especially clear when you examine timing. At one point, Papoose and Remy Ma are seen in the same location on the same day. The video surfaces. Then it disappears. No explanation. No denial. Just removal. That matters. Because removal implies awareness. And awareness implies risk. If nothing about that moment conflicted with the narrative being presented elsewhere, the footage would have been irrelevant. But instead, it vanished. And once something is removed, speculation replaces silence.
Yep.
People began asking questions that never received answers. Why no? Why erase it? Why allow one narrative to grow while another is quietly buried? And that's where the opportunist label begins to...
That's because, what do you call it? Papoose did not want Claressa to see him buying Remy a new fur coat while she's spending Christmas by herself at the Louis store, buying her own bags and pretending like he bought it for her. Yeah.
Not because of money, not because of fame, but because of emotion.
Hold on, let's get past this little ad here, man. Make sure y'all press the like button if you're enjoying the video so far. This is wild.
Emotional leverage. An opportunist doesn't need to lie. They only need to withhold. To let others interpret. To let emotions run ahead of facts. To benefit from devotion while staying detached from consequence. Claressa appears to have invested emotionally under the assumption that reality would eventually align with her belief. That Remy Ma was already in the past. That public acknowledgement would follow private connection. But reality has a way of correcting assumptions. Because legal status still matters. Family priorities still matter. And silence, when maintained long enough, becomes its own answer. The hardest truth in this story is not betrayal, it's misalignment. One person operates from emotion, another from obligation, another from advantage. And when those three forces collide, the outcome is always the same. Heartbreak for the one who believed. This is not a cautionary tale about fame or clout. It's a lesson about reading actions instead of words.
The side chick will never win. Side chick will never win. So don't. The advice to being a side chick is to be quiet, stand in the background, and shut the heck up. When you do this and you come out publicly and you act like you want to fight the main one and do all this other type of stuff and make it seem like the main one is not the main and you the main, but it always turn out this way for you. You need to just go find. There's so many people in the world to go mess with. Go find your own, especially not a married man. You knew he was married, didn't care. I don't feel bad for Claressa.
About watching where someone goes when cameras aren't present. About noticing who they choose during holidays, family moments, and unguarded time. Because that's where loyalty reveals itself. Claressa Shields supported publicly, defended fiercely, believed deeply. But belief, when not matched by commitment, becomes vulnerability. And Papoose's greatest advantage may not be what he gave, but what he never had to give at all.
Yep.
In the end,
You
love wasn't
back
denied.
and just let
It was
ride.
simply never fully chosen. This is where the story stops pretending. Because by now, the facts don't need to be argued. They've already spoken quietly, consistently, and without mercy. At some point, every narrative reaches a breaking point. Not because someone confesses, not because a receipt drops, but because the contradictions become too loud to ignore. And in this case, the contradiction is devastatingly simple. One woman believed she was being chosen. One woman already knew she wasn't. And one man never corrected either of them. That is the real scandal. For months, the public watched Claressa Shields defend a story that never fully existed. A version of events where timelines were flexible, labels were optional, and legal reality could be replaced by emotional certainty. She spoke with conviction, with loyalty, with the kind of passion that only comes from someone who has already invested their heart. But conviction does not equal truth. And loyalty, when unreciprocated, becomes exposure. Because while Claressa was explaining, protecting, and justifying, Papoose was doing something far more dangerous, nothing at all. No clarification, no boundary setting, no public correction. Silence became his strategy. And silence, in situations like this, is never neutral. It is power. Let's be clear about what this actually looks like in real time. A married man allows another woman to publicly speak as if the marriage is already over without ever correcting her. He
Never corrected her. Let her put herself out there. And he just stayed quiet so he could be like, I never said nothing. That was her talking. Diabolical.
allows her to refer to his wife as an ex while still legally married. He allows speculation to grow, narratives to form, and emotions to deepen, all while remaining comfortably undefined. That is not confusion. That is control. Because control doesn't always look aggressive. Sometimes it looks calm. Sometimes it looks polite. Sometimes it looks like letting someone else speak while you benefit from the result. And that's exactly what happened here. Claressa wasn't chasing clout. She was chasing certainty. And she mistook silence for reassurance. Meanwhile, Remy Ma did the most dangerous thing of all. She disengaged. No emotional reactions. No social media warfare. No public pleading. Just distance. And that silence told a completely different story. Because when someone is emotionally done, they don't fight for perception. They don't compete for narrative. They don't explain themselves to strangers. They move on quietly and let reality catch up on its own. Which it always does. The turning point wasn't a post. It wasn't a gift. It wasn't a statement. It was a moment that disappeared. A video. A location. A shared space on the same day. And then deletion. That's when the internet leaned forward. Because deletions don't happen unless something needs to be hidden. Not erased, just delayed. Long enough for the conversation to move on. Long enough for emotions to cool.
I think that was great advice. I said there are 1 billion people in the world. Go find your own person, especially not somebody that's married, because that's crazy. I was like, what's the point? What is the point? You're going to always end up disappointed. Whoever is the side chick, you're going to end up disappointed every time because you're not going to be the main one ever. So go find your own. That's all I'm saying. Period. I can't control that there are side chicks in the world. That has nothing to do with me. All I'm saying is, why be a side chick when you could be a main chick? There's a billion people in the world. Go find your own person. That's it. Otherwise, you're going to end up like Claressa Shields like this. And she had to put money out. Wild.
Long enough for people to forget what they saw. But people didn't forget. They noticed the timing. They noticed the overlap. They noticed who was where and who wasn't supposed to be. And suddenly, the old news excuse collapsed. Because if the story was truly over, there would be nothing to hide. This is where the opportunist label stops being speculation and starts becoming pattern recognition. An opportunist doesn't promise forever. They promise presence. Just enough to keep someone invested. Just enough to keep doors open. Just enough to avoid accountability. Claressa gave emotion. Papoose gave ambiguity. And Remy Ma gave silence. Only one of those three paid a price. The tragedy here isn't betrayal, it's imbalance. Claressa believed love would eventually force clarity. But clarity never came. Because clarity would have required sacrifice. And sacrifice was never on the table. This is why the gifts mattered. Not because of their value, but because of their timing. When explanations fail, performance begins. Luxury becomes distraction. Affection becomes spectacle. Joy becomes proof. But proof of what? That someone showed up with bags? That someone smiled on camera? That someone felt momentarily validated? None of that answers the real question. Who is chosen when no one is watching? And the answer has been consistent from the start.
Remy.
Family, structure, legitimacy. Everything Claressa was told not to worry about turned out to be exactly what mattered most. This is the part people don't want to admit. Claressa didn't lose because she loved too hard. She lost because she loved someone who never intended to choose publicly. And the man at the center of this never had to lie. He simply let everyone assume.
Yep.
That is the most dangerous manipulation of all.
Yep.
Because when someone allows you to build a future in your mind, while they quietly maintain a different present, the fallout is inevitable. And the fallout is happening now, not through lawsuits, not through confessions, but through realization. The realization that silence wasn't protection. It was permission. Permission for Claressa to believe. Permission for Remy to disengage. Permission for the public to speculate. And permission for Papoose to walk away untouched. This isn't a love triangle. It's a case study. A case study in how emotional investment can be exploited without ever being acknowledged. How public support can be accepted without being reciprocated. And how a woman can be left defending a story that was never fully hers to tell. The most painful part? Claressa didn't imagine the connection. She imagined the outcome.
At Cookie, you say don't cheat. The fuck? How can you cheat if you're not involved with somebody that already has somebody? That's how you not cheat. I literally said that person needs to go and find their own person. There are a billion people in the world. Why be a side chick when you can be a main chick? Where is the discommunication coming from? I don't understand it. Please enlighten me. Clearly, you are an avid believer in monogamy. Please. I understand it. That's why I am saying, people, if you don't have your own person, it's not hard to find because there are a billion plus people in the world to choose from. That's all I'm saying. If somebody else is already involved with somebody, then there's no need to mess with them, because all you're going to do is end up being disappointed at the end of the day, because they've already established a foundation that they want to be with each other. Does that make sense, Miss Cookie on the live? Let me continue the video.
And that difference is everything. Because connections happen, feelings happen, moments happen, but commitment is a choice. And in this story, that choice was never made. Not publicly, not privately, not when it mattered most. The verdict isn't that Claressa was foolish. The verdict is that she was hopeful in a situation that only rewarded restraint. And hope, when placed in the wrong hands, becomes heartbreak. This is why this story refuses to die, because it isn't about gossip.
Streamers, if you're only going live on one platform, you are invisible to a large portion of your audience. You need to meet them where
Because it isn't about gossip. It's about recognition. Recognition of how power actually moves. Recognition of how silence functions. Recognition of how easily emotions can be leveraged when one side stays undefined. And most importantly, recognition that believing someone wants you is not the same as being chosen. In the end, no one had to expose anything. The story exposed itself. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. This is the moment where the story stops being entertainment and starts feeling uncomfortably real. Because behind the posts, the gifts, the interviews, and the carefully chosen words, there is one brutal truth no one can spin away. Emotions were invested where commitment was never guaranteed. And when that happens, the fallout doesn't arrive loudly. It arrives slowly, quietly, and painfully. Claressa believed she was standing in truth. She believed loyalty would eventually be rewarded with clarity. She believed that silence meant protection. But silence, in stories like this, is rarely protection. It's delay. It's avoidance. It's power disguised as calm. And while one woman defended, explained, and emotionally showed up, another woman stepped back, not because she lost, but because she already understood something others didn't. When someone is truly finished, they don't argue with the narrative. They let it collapse on its own. This isn't about who loved harder. It's about who had more to lose. Because the most dangerous position in any relationship is believing you're chosen while the other person is still deciding. That's where heartbreak is engineered, not by lies, but by half-truths and unanswered questions.
Yep.
What makes this story tragic isn't betrayal. It's imbalance. One side led with emotion. The other led with control. And the one in the middle never had to take responsibility for either outcome. So before you take sides, before you defend personalities, and before you dismiss this as old news, ask yourself one question. If everything was clear, why did it need so much explaining? And if everything was over, why did so much have to be hidden? This is not just gossip. It's a warning. Because when love is real but priorities are not aligned, the ending is always the same, and the silence after is louder than anything ever said. If you see it now, you won't unsee it later.
All right. Well, that was that, man. That was very interesting, very informative. Basically, Claressa Shields got played for a fiddle. You know what I mean? Remy Ma and Papoose withdrew the actual separation, which withdrew the divorce, which means that they weren't getting divorced at all. New news: Remy is pregnant by Papoose right now. So I'm pretty much imagining that it is over between Claressa and Papoose at this point. You know what I mean? So it just is what it is, man. I appreciate y'all tuning into the video. If you made it this far, you know what time it is. It is merch time, man. You see that big old cloud over the top of my head? That was our cloud graphic. You can come and find all type of stuff here at All Day, Everyday LLC.net. As you can see, look, we got stuff for the babies. We got the onesies right here with that cloud graphic. Look, you see the one that's over my head? We got it right here on the onesie right here for the babies, man. You feel me? We got different colorways for them. Got them in Columbia blue. Yeah. Got it in the white, of course. Got it in the yellow, the pink, athletic heather. You know what I'm saying? How the babies, rocking in style early. Look at that. That's what it looked like on the back. Got the ADED right there. All day, every day. I think that is so cute. Yes. I designed each and every one of these pieces. So, you know what I'm saying? When y'all get a chance, go check them out. But yeah, we got purses for the ladies. Look at this. Bye. Look at that. That is nice quality right there. You know what I'm saying? What it said. Outer fabric, faux leather lining, 100% polyester, dark gray hardware, zip top closure, inside zip and slip pockets, got straps on it. You know what I'm saying? Backpacks. I'm a backpack guy. You feel me? Got the all day, every day on the top of it. As you can see, it got that ADED City with the cloud graphic right there. You know, so on the bottom of it, it got the little official ADED stamp. You know what I'm saying? We got a little something for everybody. And not just the cloud graphic. We got all types of stuff. You know what I mean? Let me show you. I got this sweater right here. This is the unisex midweight. You know what I'm saying? I got it in the white. This is what it looked like. It got the embroidered patch right there. That's actually stitched in right there on the sleeves too. You know what I'm saying? I got that sweater. I done washed it about 40 times. It's still super white. I ain't missing no, what do you call it, stitching on here. It's very good quality, $50. We got discount codes as well if you interested. So, you know, just let me know. But it's about 75 to 80 pieces on here that I created. You know what I'm saying? Go check them out. Sweaters, hoodies, dresses, all types of stuff, man. Slides. Let me see this sweater real quick. My homeboy, he just told me he ordered this sweater there. So, yeah. Got crop top hoodies for the ladies. It's all type of stuff on here, man. Feel me? I put a lot of hard work into this. We've been up about 6 months now. You know, very happy with the progress. Yeah. Come check us out, bro. All day, every day. LLC.net. Yeah.
You're now tuned in with your favorite dark-skinned friend with a beard.
Yeah. Yeah. That part, man. We almost went almost 2 hours just now. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure y'all press that like button, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. And like I said, when you get a chance, make sure y'all hit the store up. www.alldayeverydayllc.net. Appreciate y'all, man. One love. Until next.